We want to begin with this, the Supreme Court case sparked by a wedding cake. 5 years ago, a Colorado cake baker refused to fill that order for that cake, ordered by a same-sex couple. The baker cited his own religious beliefs. The couple says it's flat-out discrimination. We spoke to the baker 2 weeks ago right here on this broadcast, and this morning we will hear from the couple live. But first, a look at this much-talked-about case.
In America, no one should be turned away because of who they are or who they love.
I respectfully decline to create a custom cake that would celebrate a view of marriage in direct conflict with my faith's core teachings.
Earlier this month, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments in a case that pits civil rights against religious ones. In 2012, more than 5 years ago, David Mullins and Charlie Craig walked into the Masterpiece Cake Shop just outside of Denver. They wanted to order a wedding cake for their upcoming reception. When the owner of the shop, Jack Phillips, learned the cake would be for the couple's wedding, he refused to make them one, citing his Christian beliefs.
He asked us who the cake was for, and once we told him that it was for us, he informed us that he would not make a cake for a same-sex wedding.
Phillips describes his cakes as one-of-a-kind works of art. His lawyers have argued since art is a form of free speech, Phillips is protected by the First Amendment. Mullins and Craig complained to the Colorado Civil Rights Division, which ruled in their favor, saying Masterpiece Cake Shop was in violation of the state's non-discrimination statute. Phillips went on to lose multiple appeals in the Colorado state system. He and his lawyers from the Alliance Defending Freedom appealed all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Critics of the religious exemptions, like the one Phillips wants for himself, say they can invite discrimination against historically marginalized groups, like the LGBTQ community.
Love wins! Love wins!
On December 8th, Phillips and his attorney appeared on this show. Phillips maintained he's not discriminating, saying he has denied other cake requests based on his religious beliefs. And he says his business has suffered for it.
When you see those two young men talking about how it brought tears to their eyes and how they felt like second-class citizens, how did that make you feel?
I apologized to the young man. I told him I'd sell them anything else in my shop, even offered to make other creative cakes. But it's been emotional for us as well. There were days where my wife was afraid. Actually, afraid to come to the shop. We've had death threats, harassing phone calls. I've been forced by the government to give up 40% of my business, half of my employees. It's been emotional on our side as well.
University of Pennsylvania law professor Tobias Barrington-Wolf says Phillips' cake making is not protected by the First Amendment, telling NBCNews.com, anti-discrimination laws applied to businesses have never been found to violate or even implicate the First Amendment. When they sell their skills to paying customers, they are not engaging in individual expressive acts, but providing a service. He adds businesses in artistic or creative industries are subject to the same rules that every other business is subject to. Justices are expected to decide this case in late spring. Please welcome David Mullins, Charlie Craig, and their attorney, James Essex. Thank you all so much for being here. All right, tell us about that day that you first walked into the cake shop and what happened in the exchange.
Sure. Okay, Megan. So, 5.5 years ago, Charlie and I were engaged to be married, and, we were really excited. And we had a million details to finalize, including getting a cake for the reception. But this day was particularly special because Charlie's mom, Deb, was in town. She didn't live in Denver, and this was her one opportunity to be involved in planning the wedding. So our reception planner had suggested Masterpiece Cake Shop to us because she had used them in the past. So we made it an appointment, and the three of us went in.
Well, yeah, let me just interrupt really quick. I mean, when we initially called the baker to make the appointment, it didn't even occur to me to say that we were a same-sex couple.
Nor should you have to.
Right. I mean, we were just, calling for a wedding cake. So I just wanted to add that. Sorry to interrupt.
But you didn't walk in expecting any blowback. Right? You didn't walk in expecting any blowback.
Right.
So you say we would like a cake for our reception?
Yes, myself, Charlie, and his mother, Deb. We sit down with the owner, and he immediately asks who the cake is for. Charlie's holding a binder full of ideas and concepts that we'd kind of been looking at. but we never even got a chance to open it because as soon as we informed him that it was going to be for us, he told us he would not serve a same-sex wedding. And, this horrible pause followed that was just, as things really sunk in what was happening. And we were mortified and embarrassed. And Charlie's mother her being there just made it all the worse. You don't want your mom to see you go through something like that. So after a little bit of time, we basically gathered ourselves and we left.
Yeah, and I mean...
Describe that feeling, Charlie, because I know you say that you, like most gay and lesbian people, you suffered a lot of bullying growing up, and your mom was always there for you.
Right.
And now you go through this experience, and there's your mom.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in a small town in Wyoming, and being bullied and harassed was basically day to day. And Denver was the closest place where I really felt like I could be myself. So I ended up moving there, and that day I really let my guard down because I had my support system with me. I had my mom, and I had Dave, my fiance at the time. And, we were going into a bakery, and there's no way that we could hide the fact that we were gay because we were going in for, a wedding cake. So I feel like I was particularly susceptible because I let my emotional guard down that day. And when we got to the car afterwards to sort of understand what had just happened and really experience and internalize it, I broke down, I have to be honest, which was truly embarrassing to do that in front of your mom, but she comforted me and that's how that went.
But just the statement that you have to walk around with your guard up, like the thought that do I need my guard up to protect from who I am,
right.
From a reaction to who I am. You saw the baker on our show, and he talked in that clip we just played about how it was emotional for him too. His side would say it's a sincerely held religious belief. They don't have hate in their hearts. They've been raised since birth to believe gay marriage or same-sex marriage is wrong.
Right.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, I would have to say over the past 5.5 years, we have heard countless accounts of discrimination nationwide, and basically it goes from birth to death. For example, there were a lesbian couple that had a 6-day-old child, and they were turned away from a doctor because of who they were. And then it went all the way to there were a married men couple, and one lived in a nursing home, and he passed away. And the funeral director actually refused to pick up his body because he was gay. And so, this is basically happening from birth to death and then everywhere in between. And so, I want to make everyone aware that, we're not an isolated case. This is going on a day-to-day basis.
So far, these cases, James, in the court level, they haven't been successful for those asserting religious objections in many of the cases, right? Like the florist who didn't want to provide the flowers, she lost. And then there was a photographer, that person lost, right? So these cases haven't fared very well for the people asserting a religious objection. He's asserting a First Amendment objection, saying his cake is artistry and he shouldn't be forced to create art for something he doesn't support. Why is that not correct in your view?
Well, the state of Colorado, the law at issue here is Colorado's civil rights law that says that businesses that are open to the public have to be open to everybody. They can't turn people away based on who they are. And so the state of Colorado isn't regulating anyone's expression or their religious beliefs. Mr. Phillips is free to believe whatever he wants, and he has the Constitution rightly protects those beliefs. And he's also free to say whatever he wants. But those rights don't give anybody the right to turn other people away from a business that's open to the public. And I think one thing that's important to remember here is that this is not the first time that a business has either offered free speech rights or freedom of religion rights as a basis for licensing discrimination. We can go back a long way in this country to the 60s. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 becomes effective, and there's a chain of barbecue restaurants in Columbia, South Carolina, that had operated on a racially exclusionary basis. Whites could get service and black folks couldn't. And they get sued because the Civil Rights Act now says that's not lawful. And their defense is that it violated the religious beliefs of the owners.
That's right.
Because their religious beliefs said that they should not mix the races. And those were their religious beliefs. They're entitled to those religious beliefs. But the court said in that case, That doesn't mean you get to turn people away.
That the anti-discrimination laws are laws for a reason. If there are too many exceptions to them, it swallows the rule. That's the thing. It's like, and the country's grappling right now with how to accommodate people who have held these religious beliefs all their lives, and the reality that same-sex marriage is legal and discrimination against gay and lesbian people is unlawful. I'll give you the final word on what you want people who may be thinking as Jack Phillips thinks. What do you want them to know? What's the one thing you want them to know?
Well, I think more than anything, I want them to know that when, freedom of religion is essential in our country, but you cannot practice your faith in a way that excludes others from public life. Policies like Masterpiece Cake Shops, they hurt people. They hurt people like us, and policies like it across the nation, they make LGBT people feel like second-class citizens in their own country.
You are married?
We are.
You celebrated?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Congratulations. All the best to you both. Thank you so much. We'll continue to watch it. Again, we expect a decision probably late spring, probably in June.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.